All right, now let's talk about Hearst International Film Service. Newspaper tycoon William Randolph Hearst founded International Film Service in 1916. Hearst lured away most of the Barre Studios animation team, and they produced adaptations of many comic strips from Hearst newspapers in his rather limited fashion, giving just a little bit more emotion to the characters, and often using dialogue bubbles to advance the story. Now, having studied this and done a bit of history of comedy in my time, I couldn't help but compare what happened here to what happened with Lorne Michaels and Second City back in the day. Second City is an improv company out of Chicago. It had some of the best comics as part of their shows in the 1970s. People like Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Gilda Radner. And they were all lured away to be part of this new show called Saturday Night Live, which Lorne Michaels created. And he basically took all the best people, comics, writers, and said, come with me, we're going to do this thing. It seemed very similar fashion. Hearst basically just got all these great animators to come and be part of my studio. The one big asset besides money that he had was he had a catalog of material, comics, that were running in his paper. So what a perfect way to say, look, we already have this inventory, or this catalog really of content. Take it. And in a lot of ways, this is how Cartoon Network eventually started too, because they had a library of stuff that they were just sitting on. And they said to all their animators, look, here's all the assets that we have sitting around, create content. And so this is kind of a very early version of that in 1916. Their most notable series at the International Film Service was called Crazy Cat. Probably the very first of many anthropomorphic, I hate that word, anthropomorphic cartoon characters and other furry animals. So we've seen now, obviously in the course of our entire history of animation, how basically furry animals have become human-like, and even objects have become human-like, and it's become very common for us to imagine a cartoon as just bringing anything to life in any way possible. And I think this is kind of in a very early way the birth of a lot of that. Watch this and we'll keep going.